morning tip.
Good afternoon. It is July 10th, 2019. You're listening to a Little Column A, Little Column B, hosted by Will Leanos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? It is post 4th of July here in Connecticut. It's getting real hot, real humid. So I'll start you off with a story about other side of the world, but what they're doing to deal with being hot and humid. Well, there's this thing called a Beijing bikini. What a Beijing bikini is basically you take your t-shirt and you roll up the front of it to make it like a kind of like a crop top. You're thinking like Ezekiel Elliott, without it being cut.
Okay.
Chinese officials are not pleased. They're clamping down. They're considering it to be uncivilized behavior, and this would be similar to, public disturbance, maybe like a step below public disturbance. So it's not like they're gonna, it's not a felony at this point, but it is China, so gotta be careful. But what do you think of this censorship from just trying to stay cool?
Is that what everyone's really trying to do? Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Truth? All right. Well, is everyone doing it? Because I don't think everyone should do it. And I know that sounds.
Well, clearly it's too many and they're uncomfortable with it. But it's it's in Jinan, a city of around 8.7 million people, and this past week temperatures were getting in the mid 90s. So pretty hot, not crazy hot, but hot enough that rolling your shirt up might feel pretty good.
Is it?
But no.
Is it too inconsiderate of me of thinking that maybe too many people that probably shouldn't be doing that were doing that? And it's not that it has nothing to do with the actual point of it. It is more of the physical appearance of it. I don't think everyone maybe has quite the same torso size. And I'm saying that I'm walking this line close here. All right. Am I the only one who kind of feels that way? That maybe we don't want every single person wearing this or showing this sort of part of their body? Is that wrong?
I can guarantee.
Am I gonna get in trouble on this?
You. Oh yeah, you're going right to the line. I can guarantee you that they don't look like Zeke Elliott. Not many of us do. But you know what? Everybody gets hot, and this is a way that you're not going out there trying to make a fashion statement, saying, "Oh yeah, look how much working out I've been doing. Look how cut and ripped I am." It's hot. This is what I'm gonna do to cool down. I don't want to take my shirt all the way off because that seems like a little much. I'm just gonna kind of go halfway. Meet you guys halfway. No go.
Is it funny that I feel like we're kind of on the same page here? I'm throwing you in. I'm bringing you down with me. That our problem with this is the exposure of the wrong body types, and the government's problem with it is
let's not throw a we in here.
No. We're doing it.
Let's not get caught up in body shaming here. I don't want to get in trouble in 2019.
All right. Well, is it just funny that we have counter?
There's going to be more attractive people to look at that are doing this than others. But I don't think that should restrict the person from getting cool.
Getting cool. All right, how effective is this actually of cooling down your body temperature? I mean, let's be honest. This isn't really that effective. I don't think this is truly making any drastic difference.
I don't think it's making a ton, but I think it helps a little. Might just be a little placebo effect. I'm wondering if it has more to do with if it's more of a young person thing, and so it's not so much of no one can do this. It's kind of just a way of almost like people that that are wearing baggy pants. So like, oh yeah, you can't wear baggy pants in this area, in this store. And really, it is like they just don't want young people to be around this area. So I'm wondering if this is just a way to, hey, you want to wear that, go somewhere else. But hey, this is the beach. This is for adults. We don't want you teenagers here.
I feel like we shouldn't have talked about this topic for as long as we did, and I just looked. We're only 4 minutes in. I'm like, why are we still talking about this? This is like,
I don't know, because it's hot.
It's summertime. This is the best time of year. This is the time of year that everybody looks forward to, and then we all complain about it.
Nah, I don't think everybody.
Maybe just us, the people without air conditioning. Although I'm not too bad over here. I hear you. What's the active temp over there on the East Coast right now? Give me the Connecticut Fahrenheit. What do you got?
Well, in other, it's super hot out sort of news. Did you see what the Reds, the baseball team, wore the other day because it was hot out?
No, I missed it. It's funny. I don't feel like I didn't find a whole lot of sports topics this week. I also didn't really make any effort to watch any baseball. which would have solved both the problems right there. So I missed all of this, and I didn't bring a whole lot to the table today, outside of a couple goofy stories here. But what did they do? All right, so it's hot outside. What is it? Atlanta? Where are we? Reds? Cincinnati?
Cincinnati. So it wasn't, I don't think, specifically because it was hot, but it is the summertime when baseball happens. So they wore throwback 1956. They're calling them vest-style jerseys without sleeves. Really, they're baseball jerseys with the sleeves cut off. I think it's pretty cool. I think that it doesn't make a ton of sense that baseball played all through the summer, the entirety of the summer, wears long pants and like heavier type shirts. I get you got to wear pants. You're sliding. If you've ever tried to slide into second base with shorts on,
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
It is painful. You'll get a nice little raspberry. So yep, get that. That makes sense. But having sleeveless shirts, I think you should go for it. Basketball players sleeveless. I don't know why soccer players don't go sleeveless. They're not using as much of their upper body. Maybe their arms are a little smaller. Maybe they're a little self-conscious about it. But baseball players,
Hold on.
the main
We're talking about
thing
body
is
shaming here.
hitting
You're
the
gonna
ball.
body shame soccer players in comparison to these baseball players. This is
Oh,
we're
you
going down
put-
a dangerous
you
road
put a-
here.
You put an average baseball player next to an average soccer player. It's just the sport that they're playing. It'd be like saying, oh, well, most baseball players are smaller than football players. It's just the size of how it works and what you're looking to do. There's a lot taller guys in basketball than in baseball. Nothing to do with shaming or anything. It's just you're a baseball player. You got to throw the ball all the time. You just got these like big, massive arms going on. And I think that they got to be pretty happy that they got a chance to, really show it off to all the fans.
I'm avoiding all of this because I think you're disrespecting some soccer players here and somehow complimenting
I'm not
baseball
saying that
guys.
they're not athletic. I'm not saying that their legs and their stamina isn't incredibly better. I'm just saying in this specific case, you put a guy that's doing arm workouts all the time against a person that's doing leg workouts all the time, you're going to see a difference.
I'd like to think that all these professional athletes do full body workouts. They're not amateurs like us that have been skipping leg day for 20 years. All right,
I'm just saying they're focused on different things. A soccer player doesn't have to try to hit a baseball 400 feet.
Anyways, I kind of like the short sleeve idea. It makes a lot of sense. It's an outdoor sport. It is a hotter time of year. I don't think it's truly
Sleeveless. They already wear t-shirts most of them, or not t-shirts. They wear short sleeve shirts most of the time. They cut the sleeves right off.
I think it's cool. I don't really have a problem with it. I think the biggest problem is just how traditional everything is in baseball. I think if they were to kind of stay away from some of those traditions or come off that line just a touch, that one they'd probably have more fans, and I think it'd be a little bit more exciting. But it's a very traditional sport. That's kind of how it is and how it probably always will be. I don't see those walls ever really coming down. So they can have their one night, however many days they're going to do this, but I can't imagine this picking up. I mean, can you see the rest of the league? You see any other team in the league doing this?
No, I think it was just a throwback. I think it was just a fun thing to do, but I agree with you that the more fun things that baseball does, the better. And speaking of fun things, this could be my second segue.
Oh, look at
Stealing
you.
your job from you. Did you watch or hear anything about the home run derby?
No. And no, what's going on with that?
All right. So I'm gonna explain this as the guy that also just kind of stumbled upon it, as I've got a basketball problem because I was watching the Celtics Summer League, and it was towards the end of it when my brother texted me and said, "Hey, you should check out the home run derby. It's getting kind of wild." Okay, what's going on over here? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Was just killing it. He hit 29 home runs in the first round, which was a record. Then he and another guy hit an obscene amount. I think it was 29 again or close to that in the second round, which instituted an overtime, which I don't think I've seen that before. So I think most of it was like 8 or 10 minutes of you hit as many home runs as you could in that time. There's a couple of wrinkles, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Then the overtime was 2 minutes. They hit the same home runs that time, so it goes to double overtime. Double overtime was just 3 swings.
Oh man.
Vlad ended up hitting 2 to the other guy's 1, and that was just the semifinals. Finals was not nearly as exciting after that, but I was not expecting to really watch the home run derby. I'll usually dabble occasionally, but it's like I found some basketball. I'm gonna watch this, and Taco Falls is still really tall. I'm gonna watch this 7-7 guy do stuff. So yeah, a lot more baseball talk than I thought we were gonna talk about today.
Wow, man, yeah, I'm kind of proud of us. I mean, I didn't watch the Derby at all. To be honest, this is probably the only time I should have watched it, and every other year I wouldn't say it was quite as exciting. So it would make sense that this would be the year I wouldn't do it and miss out such an exciting route on a home run derby. So who ended up winning then? Did Vlad win?
No, another guy won. Guy on the Mets.
Oh, so he overcomes all
Like I
of
said,
that and then doesn't win?
yeah, had a huge, crazy first couple of rounds, and then you could tell when he was in that final round, like there was no like not a ton of form left. He's a heavier kind of guy, and seemed to be like just willing his body to get these baseballs out of the park of just real aggressive, violent exhaustion. Which
Oh
makes
man,
sense.
I got a good transition for us now. Joey Chestnut is defending his championship of 4th of July from last week of the hot dog eating champion of the world once again. I don't really think this comes as a big surprise right now. He didn't break any records. He's done this before. I think more people are just kind of impressed by the longevity of this and just how dominant he's been for so long. But man, it's hard to watch this. Like, did you watch it? It's not.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I can't think of the last time I actually watched it. It's always you kind of see the highlights. You see he won. Like SportsCenter's pretty good about picking and choosing. This year, just the way it worked out, I had a little bit of downtime, and it's like right around noon, and it was like in between we were getting ready, and then like I said, a little downtime before we were like going out for the day. It's like, hey, let's throw the hot dog eating contest on. And so we throw it on, and they're doing the introductions. So they have all these like kind of silly introductions where they tell them where they're from, what event they won. Usually there's like a little joke or something in there, like what regional tournament or whatever contest that they won to be able to get in here. But then on the back of their shirts, it's got their name and it's got the number that they like their personal best, or at least I think it's their personal best to get them into this major competition.
Yeah.
So they do that. They walk up onto this, walk up the stairs, walk on the stage, wave to the crowd, have like a whole thing, and it goes from the least likely to win all the way up, and then Joey Chestnut's the last guy to go. So I had no idea they had this whole, Rumble introduction, which I thought was cool.
That takes longer than the actual show. It's quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's 8 minutes, so real quick, and the contest itself is just super gross.
It's not fun to watch.
I just always forget every year. It's like, oh yeah, this will be fun. Like this is a contest, and then you're just stretching the human ability just past its normal limits, and they train, and it's definitely a skill. But man, is it gross? It wasn't that much that competitive, so it didn't make for a fun competition. Joey Chestnut kind of hopped out to a lead pretty quick and just kept extending it. So I was thinking we need a competitor. Can't just have him keep running away with it. Even if a guy just keeps him close, with a minute, 2 minutes left, I think that would really help the spectator sport that it is of like a challenger.
Do you think how long do you think the average competitive eating career is? Like, how long is his prime right now? Is he still in his prime? I mean, he's still putting up 70-something hot dogs. It seems pretty consistent that he can do that every year, and he does a whole bunch of other competitions.
Yeah, there was a stretch where he kept beating his own record, and he was way ahead of everybody else. So even if he slows down, I think that he's still in a good spot to be competitive. I think he could do it for pretty much as long as he wants to do it. That was actually another thing that was interesting, introducing the people. You had just such a wide variety of we're right back into of body types. There was a guy that was, I think he was 5'6", 5'7", weighed, it was like 140, all the way up to like this massive guy. I think he was like 6'4", 320 or something, and just every kind of size in between. It was just interesting.
I think it's funny. Would you describe Joey Chestnut as like a big guy? I don't think he's very big. I think he's very average.
I thought that too. Let me look up his measurements real quick because he's a little bigger than you thought. Because we were kind of thinking the same thing. Like, what is he? Here, yeah, throw a guess out there. Maybe I was wrong.
I'd guess like 5'10". Shit, I don't know. 200. Is 200 a lot? I don't know. I'm not.
He's 6'1", 230.
That's not a bad guess. That's pretty good. That is a little bit more than I thought.
No,
Maybe he just
yeah,
hides
and
that
I had
extra
no
30
idea.
pounds somewhere. I don't know where that is, but
Yeah, I don't know if the 230 is pre-competition or post-competition.
oh man, I don't even want to think post competition. That's the thing. After I watch the highlights of this, I'm like, I don't ever want to watch that for 165 days. Like, I will wait till next year. There's never been
Yeah,
an itch to see like, I wonder how his other competitions go. How does he do in
nope,
that
nope.
Buffalo Wild Wing competition or the whatever other. Like that's the other thing is we give all these guys this attention on the one day, but they still do this actively throughout the year. Like they're doing every other competition, whether it's pizza. I don't know. I see weird things all the time for it. I don't ever watch it though. I don't really have much interest in watching this either. It's especially because they're so good at it.
Nope.
It's
It was
it's
super gross, and the whole thing where you got the whole strategy of you're dunking the buns and you don't eat it like a normal hot dog. It's like you're eating two hot dogs at a time while you're soaking the next bun, and then you just shove it. Like I said, you're pushing the limit of human capability. I have no idea how you're just able to repeatedly do that.
so how many hot dogs do you think you could eat? We've probably talked about this before, but in
How many I could eat
yeah, what is it, 8 minutes? You get
in
8 minutes.
8 minutes? Not that many.
I think eight would
I
be impressive, right? Like one a minute.
I, I was thinking like maybe I could get to double digits, but I don't know. Maybe I'd have to like train a little bit beforehand, or at least come in really hungry. I think maybe they were saying they didn't eat for a while, but I think for an amateur that might almost hurt you. Of like maybe you like eat too fast. I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't interest me. I entered a pie eating contest one time, and it was like, oh nope, this is not for me.
I think the worst part about it is they don't enjoy the food. I would say the best part about eating is I like what I'm eating. I'm not eating because I'm hungry. I'm eating because I enjoy doing this. There's no enjoyment in this at all. This looks like so much work and effort into doing something I think is pleasurable for a majority of people. Eating's in such an
Uh,
excessive
did,
amount. Like you don't enjoy it.
so you didn't watch, but did you have hot dogs over 4th of July,
I did not.
like
I did
over the whole
not.
weekend?
Nope. Didn't
Oh,
have one. Didn't have one. I wanted one. It was on like my list of things to do, but I just it's so crowded
just
and
didn't
busy over here.
just didn't come up.
It's so hard to
Yeah,
do something on the fourth year and on the weekend of. It's just there's too much going on. I ended up just finding somewhere in a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more inland. Just sat at a park and read a book for most of the day, and I thought that was great because I tried going to the beach. I had some buddies over there, and I got about halfway there and was like, nope, turn around. We're just in a
too busy.
standstill right now. Nobody's going anywhere. There's nowhere to park. There's 100 cars right here that are all about to make the same U-turn. I'm just going back. This isn't gonna happen.
gonna, gonna jump the gun.
Yeah, and I kind of I banged up my ankle like a week ago, so they were all playing volleyball, and I didn't feel like hanging out on the beach with the bum ankle for the whole day, and putting up with all that.
Makes sense.
So I didn't really do a whole lot, but it's a weird time. This summertime out here is just so busy and so crowded that it's almost like you can convince yourself, why am I going to do anything on this day when I could do the same thing any other day, like, without millions of people here.
Makes sense.
Did you have a hot dog though?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm trying to remember. I was definitely at a barbecue later that day, and I can't remember if I had a hot dog and a hamburger. Maybe I just had a hamburger, or vice versa. There was definitely, barbecue was happening, and for sure on Friday I had a couple hot dogs, and I'd already recovered from watching it. It was fine. I had two hot dogs, like that was plenty. I took my time eating them. Probably took me 10 minutes to eat both of them, and that was plenty.
Did you go shopping for the hot dogs? Did you go shopping at all the past weekend?
I went shopping for beer. That's about it.
Ooh, so I'm guessing you didn't remember to bring your grocery bags.
No, for sure didn't. Yeah, we're still pretty lax about that over here.
No, not over here. But anyways, I hear we have a follow up story here to our. Is this to the
We
embarrassing
do.
the embarrassing plastic bags that had like funny stuff written on them?
Yes. So a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago, or just many podcasts ago, came up with the grocery store in Vancouver that they were trying to get people to bring their bags, remember to bring their bags because the plastic bags they were going to offer had embarrassing things said on them. So it had Into the Weird Adult Video Emporium, had like the colon doctor or something, just stuff to try to say, you know, you'd be fine with it, but all right, well, I'm embarrassed. Next time I'm going to remember to bring my bags. Well, one of our listeners got a hold of me and texted me, "Hey, there's a follow up to this." So this whole plan is very much backfired on the store. People are coming in happy to pay the 10 cents for the bag, and they're trying to collect the whole set. So people are grabbing more of the plastic bags. It's been so popular that what they're actually going to do is they're trying to create, or they're gonna turn them into canvas bags, so people can have these not as I'm embarrassed to have them, but as like a badge of honor to bring to the store every time. Did
Wow.
not see this coming.
No, I did not. Welcome to 2019. Wow. When you
So
said you had a follow up to this, I had no idea what it was going to be. That's not what I thought it was going to be at all. I was pretty confident it wasn't going to be that. Oh man, yeah, I caught me off guard. That's kind of. Where is this again? Like, maybe I need to judge these people
this,
too. Maybe I need to
this
shame
is
this
in
area.
Vancouver.
Oh, goddamn Canadians. This is awesome. This is a great story. This is the never ending story. So, do you have any interest in having one of these bags now?
No,
No. Would
no,
you
no. I'm good.
Would you make fun of me if I had one of these bags? Like, would you make fun of one of your friends essentially?
Yes, I would tease you, but it seems like the people that are into it would just kind of over the top, like just not accept the tease, and would like make me feel like I was the uncool one somehow. I feel like it would get reversed right back on me if I tried to say anything. Because if you were that confident to go buy this canvas bag, like you really wanted this. And it's almost like you're a fan, like you're a team. It'd be like if someone tries to give you a hard time about a sports team that you like, and you're confident. You're like you can say whatever you want. Like this is my team. Like I'm with it. I'm with these bags.
I'm saving the world and you're not.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Oh, it's a Superman superhero. That's funny. I didn't see that doing. Do you know what some of the other
Yeah.
phrases were? I know we got the adult video one or whatever, or adult something.
Uh, there was wart ointment wholesale and the colon care co-op.
We need to make our own. Maybe this is the new booming business here. You got anything off the top that you think you can come up with?
Hmm.
Like listens to our
Trying
podcast.
to,
Is that shameful enough?
I'm trying to find the sweet spot of hey, kind of embarrassing, but not ooh, that's really gross. Yeah, and yeah,
The
nothing off the top of my head.
Can we get Joey Chestnut eating a hot dog on this? Would that be shameful enough?
You gotta be careful with that because I get what you're going for. Like it's kind of embarrassing and it's kind of gross, but I mean, Joey Chestnut's an American hero. Like I could see that working the same way of you're trying to make it like, ooh, this is gross, you don't want it, and being like, Joey Chestnut for sure. He's a he's a 16-time hot dog eating championship that comes on the 4th of July. Like when I think of 4th of July in America, I think of Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, I bet if you Google 4th of July, that you'd probably wouldn't have to go too far down to find a picture of Joey Chestnut.
I don't think you would.
That's who would have thought? Forget about American history. We need the first thing to come up to be Joey Chestnut, the hot dog eating contest world record setter and holder.
I think it's getting closer and closer every time he wins.
Hey, well, while we're on the topic of world records here, I hear you have a new Guinness world record challenge here. We're going to try this new segment out right now.
Yeah, so still haven't figured this exactly out. Trying to figure out if we want to do a segment where I give one real one and one fake one. Just the stupidest one I could find of the week. But this week, what I'm gonna do, and we'll test this out, is I got two of them, and I want you to tell me which one you would rather have to spend the next week, month. Like you gotta try to beat it. Which one you would rather try to beat?
Okay.
So the first one is
These are both real, by the
or
way, right?
yep, both very real.
Okay.
Uh, Oregon students create world's largest piece of chalk. That's one. The second one is man catches fire sword 64 times in 1 minute for Guinness record.
Fire sword?
Fire sword.
What is that? I have so many questions.
Go ahead,
First of all,
Will.
how big
Go
was
ahead,
the
Will. Ask what a fire sword is.
I was much more interested in how big the chalk was. That seemed a little bit easier.
Okay, hold on. All right, which one would you like to know first? I got answers to both.
How big's the chalk? Because right now the sword sounds like a lot more of a challenge. I don't want to play with fire.
The giant piece of chalk is just over 6 feet tall and 24 inches wide.
And how exactly do you make chalk? Is this something you can make at home?
They made it in their basement.
This is like some Breaking Bad here.
I got you. I got all the answers for you. You didn't think I was gonna have all these answers.
I really didn't.
got 'em.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready. Keep going.
The students said they created the piece by quickly pouring plaster and water into a cylindrical tube. And as I'm going into this, just to give you an idea of space consideration, you already heard the height and the width. They said their biggest problem now is how they're going to get out of their basement because it weighs approximately 1,000 pounds.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When I first heard 6 feet, I was like, oh, maybe it's not that big. I don't know. Maybe that's like a reasonable. Like maybe I could do better than that. But 1,000 pounds.
We could put you inside of it.
1,000 pounds. I don't know. That sounds like a lot more work now. All right, what's the fire sword then? Maybe I don't want to do that. That sounds like a lot of labor. That also sounds expensive. Whereas the other thing may just be practice. But what exactly is a fire sword? Is it as obvious as a sword that's just on fire that have to catch 64 times in a minute?
You are absolutely right. There's this guy by a lake on a little platform, and he's got a sword that I'm eyeballing it. I'm gonna say is 2.5, 3 feet long, and he clearly doused it with something beforehand because he sticks it into a campfire and it lights on fire for 1.5 to 2 feet of it, and yeah, just like you might expect, toss it up in the air.
Just one sword?
Just one.
And he just basically juggles the one sword 60 something times. Is that what it is?
64 times. It's more of I'm gonna call it more of a twirl.
So he kind of twirls it into the air and then catches it again?
Yeah, because he's trying to do it as fast as possible. So kind of like a baton, the way you kind of twirl a baton by the end. And so he's trying to do it as quickly as possible. So that's the oh wow, he's not that good at this. I did not watch the video before. I'm watching the video, and this cannot be the one that he got it, because 64 times in 1 minute, you got to kind of get one every time. Yeah, he's a little shaky, which kind of makes sense because he's got over 100 Guinness World Records. So he's just the type of guy that decides, hey, this is the new thing. I'm gonna try this until I get it.
I'm gonna go with the fire sword. I think I got a decent shot of it. I'm really counting on the fire being mostly illusion and just challenge. But at the end of the day, I feel like if I practice the perfect twirl or juggle or whatever you want to call it, that I just act like the fire's never there on game day and you just play through it, right? Right? That's got to be how this guy did it. It's not like he had any fire training prior to this.
And I get what you're saying, and the fire's definitely cool, but I think you are right that it's a little bit of just an illusion, because if it's a sword, it's sharp, and so if you don't catch it correctly, you're already going to cut yourself. So it's already going to hurt. So the fire, I think, it's just already going to hurt even if it wasn't on fire. But it does look cool.
I would probably have a harder time setting this up the fire time than the actual twirl juggle thing. Like I bet I
Why
could
would it be
get
hard
the.
to set up?
I bet I don't know. I just imagine that would be the time where I
Well,
would
I guess.
spill the gasoline a little too much here, and
Oh, that's what you. I was thinking that you just thought it'd be hard to get a sword.
oh yeah, well, I'm not going to be provided one. You can't just call Guinness World Records and say, hey, I want to break this record. They don't give you a sword. You gotta bring your
I
own.
don't think that's how it works.
No, I can't have this guy's sword.
I mean, you could ask him. His name's David Rush.
Is
Go find him, ask him.
is David an American? That sounds dumb of me to ask for David Rush is American, but I'm just curious if this was like some
Non-specific.
not no. All right, well, I imagine there.
Would you be interested? Would you be interested in hearing any of his other records?
In a second after this, is there any second place record holder for this?
I'm thinking there must be, because it's like 64, and so I'm thinking the last guy must have had at least 63, or yeah, like had obviously had less, but I think that there must have been something before this.
All right, I think I could do this. I really do. I think with the right sword.
Oh, hold on, I didn't quite go down far enough. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that question. Yeah, he did it 64 times 1 minute, breaking the previous record of 62 in a minute.
Oh man, so really someone else did have this record. I really just thought. I imagine majority of these Guinness World Records are guys that just make up stuff. Like it's just the first run, and they say I'm the only person to ever do this because nobody else has ever thought to do this. And I imagine that's majority of the
unique
records.
enough.
Yeah, it's just unique enough. So it's really hard to say how impressive it all is. Not that it's not, but if it's something that nobody's done before, it's kind of like you just found a unique talent that nobody else thought they would have to do before.
No one else had that much free time.
Yeah. So, but if there was a previous record, I don't know. Maybe he did work at this. Maybe there was some strategy or some studying. That's the other thing is like I need to see how this guy did it. Like it's not like I can kind of invent my own form here. I can't watch years of NBA basketball to suddenly learn how to shoot a jump shot. Like,
well, he does have a video. I can send you the link.
Oh, is there any coaching? Is this like a YouTube video that can walk me through on how to do this?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well,
you could figure it out. You're an athlete. You're really good at repetitive athletic stuff. You'll be fine.
I'm a little intimidated by the sword though and the fire. I'm not an adventurous athlete though. I'm not doing anything that's gonna hurt myself.
Very true. Yeah. Wait, didn't you hurt yourself playing basketball again?
Yeah, trying to be adventurous. Which one would you go with? Like, which one do you think would be easier?
The easier one seems like that plaster one, but the fire one is way more exciting.
Really, I don't think the plaster one's going to be that easy. I think it's going to be just as much of a hassle for less of a reward. Like at the end of it, I'm not going to be. At least at the end of the other one, I could say I did this. It kind of sounds cool. It's like, oh, he played with something sharp and something on fire. Versus the big chalk thing, it's like, well, now what? What do you do with it? Like, look, I made this.
Exactly. Like it's stuck there. You can't use it as a piece of chalk. Now, at least with the fire thing, you own a sword. When you have scars on your arms, you're not like, no, this is from making the biggest thing of chalk. Like, no, this was from fire.
I don't know if this segment's gonna survive or not. I kind of like it though. I think this is cool. I think next time.
This is the first one. Remember our first podcast. A little shaky, and then
I think you needed
100 were shaky, and maybe the next bottle will be less shaky.
I think we need 3 options. I think you need 2 real ones and then 1 fake one. I think the first guess should be which ones are real and which ones are fake. And then
I like that general idea, but I wasn't confident enough in my fake creating event, because then it's like with this, it's like, hey, I got an article. You ask follow up. Maybe what we'll have to do is maybe what we do is it's the 3, but I just give you headlines. You can't ask follow up questions, because then that way I'm not trying to make stuff up on the spot. Like, here are your 3 headlines. You guess, then I tell you which ones, and then maybe we can go into kind of what we just did here, like a little.
I think you can go. I think you just fudge a number on a fake one. Like you find a real record and you just up it, double it, add a 0, divide it by 2. Like you just. Like that's
right,
that's
not
the tweak.
Like off by 1. Don't be like, hey, this guy beat the record. He did it 63 times. Be like, nope, you were wrong. It was 64.
No, like
say like
you
he did
say,
it 1,000 times or
like
something
Joey
crazy.
Chestnut. What is it? Had his records what 76 hot dogs or something like that in the 8 minutes.
No, it's seven. I think it's 73. I could be
73.
wrong on that though,
Whatever.
because I
Whatever.
think
That doesn't matter. All right, for the fake one, you say yeah, Joey ate 150 or something. Maybe not something drastic as that, but something maybe that seems
all
clearly
right,
impossible
I'll
or drastically low. I think that could be something fun here. I don't know. What do you listeners
all right.
think? You tell
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, listeners, help out again
You
this
let
week.
us know. All
You've been
right.
you're very helpful this past week.
Also, if you have any strange, weird Guinness World Record stories or something you think would be funny to talk about or at least entertaining to compare to, feel free to tweet at Zach and message him and let him know your ideas. You can reach him at.
Wicked Z-Man 24.
And also, you can message us and comment on our website at lcalcb.com, as well as most of the streaming platforms. We have access to comments as well. Podbean is kind of our home site here. So plenty of stuff on there. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you thought this could be something, is something, or isn't absolutely nothing. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't sure. You know what we need? I think we need music during certain segments. I think we should add something in the background. Just to change it up.
Oh, interesting.
Because I feel like a lot of the
Kind of
segments
like
you
let
listen.
everybody know, like, hey, that's the world record music. It's happening.
I also think we should make it as much of a game show as possible. I feel like every radio person, podcast person has always wanted to be
funny.
a game show host. So like
It's funny that
you
you
need
say
the
that because
effects.
you said music. I was listening to game show music in my head.
Yeah,
On the same
we'll do that next time. I think that'll immediately help this segment, where it's a hell of a lot more fun, and then we have to play around with the sound bites and all that. Yeah. All right, yeah, there's something there. We could do this. Speaking of something a whole bunch of people didn't think would be possible, and didn't think anyone could do it. Did you think the Clippers were gonna do that thing where they did with the
No,
Paul George and
no, I
Kawhi
did
Leonard?
not,
Yeah.
and I for sure wasn't expecting it at 2 a.m. I can't believe I was up for it.
I don't know why you were up either. When you called me that night, I was asleep. I wasn't even up.
That was the same night as the earthquake, right?
It was the same night as the earthquake, which was really weird watching it on. So I'm watching Summer League with some buddies out here, and they end up ending one of the games early for Summer League, the Zion game that everyone's tuned in to watch.
Yeah.
They end up stopping because of an earthquake, and then meanwhile, as I'm watching them stop, my buddy's apartment is shaking. Nothing too drastic, but you could definitely see like the liquor bottles, like waving back and forth. You could see kind of the bounce on there. I think a couple things might have tipped over, but nothing too drastic. But strong enough to feel, and far enough from Vegas that you could certainly agree that's a strong earthquake. That's a big coverage right there. But anyways, yes, Summer League.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly why. I sort of know why I was up because I was up watching the Zion game, and then the earthquake happened, and then you had stuck into my head about watching Tom Brady highlights, and so then I just fell down a deep YouTube rabbit hole, and then luckily was awake to see the Woj bomb. That not only did Kawhi decide he was going to go to the Clippers, but they traded for Paul George. I thought Paul George was super happy in OKC. Apparently, not enough to say, "Yep, please trade me." And for a record-setting collection of draft choices. Did you see the number of draft choices?
We got 7 picks, 5 picks, 5 picks and 2 swaps.
Yeah, 5 picks and 2 swaps. That is wild. You want me to run through them? I got them right in front of me.
Yeah, go for it. All right. So what are the 5 picks? They're not all the Clippers picks. These are picks they've acquired from other teams, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna be the Clippers unprotected first pick in 2022, 2024, 2026. It's Miami's first round pick in 21. And in 23, that one is protected, as well as pick swaps in 2023 and 2025. So in between the first round of the Clippers pick. So the Clippers basically for the next 5 years are tied to OKC.
Who do you think won the trade here? Do you think there's an obvious winner?
I don't think so. Uh, I think if Paul George comes in and everything works out, I mean, if they win a title, yep, worth it. But especially with it being down the road when these picks come, uh, I just saw today that Kawhi took a 3 year deal where he has a player option on the third year. So he can opt out the same year that Paul George becomes a free agent. So say after 2 years this does not work, they could both just leave. And then all of a sudden those pick swaps becomes a Celtics Nets situation of, oh no, we're gonna be good for a while. We don't need to worry about it. And then ooh, we have no influx of draft assets coming in, and now we have to swap these picks. Uh-oh. So I could see it going either way.
I just think this OKC team is the team that drafted Westbrook, drafted Harden, drafted Durant. Durant really wasn't much of a choice, but I'd like to think that Presti probably still would have taken Durant at number one, even if Odin was there. But still, they're a pretty good draft history right now. So if I'm them, I'm thinking, all right, I've already done a good job. How the Warriors got to where they were was by drafting really well and then attracting a really good free agent in Kevin Durant. Um, if I'm OKC, I'm not really playing the New York Knicks game of like, oh, we'll just hold out for a free agent to come to us. I don't. It was a miracle they were able to trade for Paul George. I don't think he would have just opted to go there if he was a free agent. Although he did re-sign there, even that was kind of shocking. But obviously, he didn't seem very attached if he was willing to kind of make this trade happen. Um, the real question is now, what do you want to do with Westbrook? This team is officially in rebuilding mode. I don't think you want to go
Seems like
forward with just Westbrook, do you? I don't think you got enough back.
yes, yeah, seems like he doesn't necessarily want to be there. I know there's reports he was discussing with management. Hey, what's the future here? So I don't know exactly where they're going to sell to him because you just lost Paul George for, I can see easily in his eyes, nothing. Like you're getting a bunch of picks, but really nothing of that can help you next year. So you're gonna be worse. So I wouldn't be surprised if they also moved him. I just don't know who exactly can afford him. Like what do you just saw what it cost to get Paul George. Um, Russell Westbrook is in that neighborhood, and I just don't think any other team is saying, "Yep, I can afford that."
Well,
It's a lot.
I don't think you. I mean, I think you want something that's equivalent to that price, but I don't think you want them to give you 5 more draft picks. I mean, you got to fill out a roster at some point here. Is that really what you would
Oh,
want
actually,
back?
well,
I think you would want players
we
in
were
exchange for
sorry,
Westbrook.
we were focused on the draft picks, but should be said that OKC is going to get Gallinari and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who was a second All Rookie this year.
Do you think it really matters who Westbrook plays with? Because maybe those guys would be just as better off anyways. I feel like he kind of does his own thing and is really at his best when it's just him. Like
That's
maybe,
what I wonder if you almost go like you said, make it Russell Westbrook the entire show, and almost like with Isaiah Thomas on the Celtics, of just you're running him handoffs, you're getting him, he does everything, and you're just fine with it, and everybody else is there to play defense and to spot up, and there's no, hey, whose team is it? What's going on? Nope, Russ, you all the time.
I mean, outside of the
Shay, get him the
superstars,
ball.
that Westbrook's played with, Gallinari is probably the best shooter. Outside of like Paul George and Kevin Durant and James Harden. I mean, who else is what Russ played with as good a shooter as Danilo Gallinari? And I think the Shea guy's got some value too. I don't know. Maybe they have something there. Maybe this will be addition by subtraction, much like a lot of other teams when they let these guys go, they let everyone else kind of step up and do their thing. I think for this, I mean, does it not always feel like Westbrook is deferring constantly to somebody else and that he's really just doing that to make the other person happy?
Well, yeah, I can get that. Yeah, that's why I wonder if he does stay. Of just okay, there's nobody else. No,
Well,
go for it.
well, there's not a whole lot of great destinations for him, so it'll be interesting to see what they do down the road. But I would say more or less all the free agency has pretty much settled down. I think everyone has gone. All the names that are worth naming have found a home. And for a second right now, let's kind of let all the dust settle and really assess everything. If everyone stays where they are right now, let's say everyone stays healthy, who do you think will be the best player going into next year? Who is your early amateur MVP vote right now? Do you have any guesses?
I don't think Kawhi plays enough. I think he'll do the similar rest, and I wonder how much more resting we'll have. Uh,
I
I'm
want
gonna go. I'm gonna go with Harden.
You're gonna go with Harden.
Yep, 2 years ago, runner up, but right there this year, uh, pretty much the same team. I think as long as this Chris Paul stuff isn't super real and it's just a lot more smoke, a lot of other teams had to change and move around, and a lot of basketball is chemistry. And if you can have a lot of the same guys, you know what you're doing, you can make it to the top. They had a real rough start and then got it together. I think that they could be the top team in the West, and probably the East as well. And that's kind of how I go for MVP. It's like the best player on the best team. So I think it could be Harden.
And you can all right. We can either ask you. I gotta ask you one or two questions here. Do you want? We can either do a West team vote, which would be Harden, or an East vote, or you can just give me a runner up at number two. Is it a runner up number two also in the East, or if you were to vote for a runner up, who would it be?
Runner up. I'm
Because
trying to think where
I'm really
everybody.
I really only bring this up because I think Harden seems like the safer pick, and that makes a whole lot of sense on what you said. But I also feel like LeBron James has something to say this year. He hasn't won an MVP in quite some time, and he may go for it and may have to go for it if the roster isn't really has the depth of where it's at. And Anthony Davis has hurt a hell of a lot. But I could also see LeBron being like,
No.
"Look, I'm in my whatever umpteenth year. There's no way I'm playing MVP minutes and putting that kind of effort into the whole year when I know all that really matters is June. So like I need to pace myself to get to where I'm at. So I could see that. I can also see that guy Stephen Curry. He's got an MVP before, and he's not going to have Clay, and he's not going to have Kevin Durant anymore, and they've got a whole bunch of roster changes. I just wonder if they've lost too much, and teams are going to be focused on him too much, which will be very really weird to see Curry just really struggle next year without the variety of weapons, or he really proves everybody that he is as good as we thought. It's strange.
Well, see, the problem and a little bit of my problem with who I picked is anyone that's won an MVP, you have to elevate yourself almost in your MVP season. So it's like if LeBron just does LeBron stuff, which is still awesome, there's just kind of a okay, well that's LeBron being LeBron. It's like, well, he's still better than everybody else. It's like, well, no, well he's not the MVP because who already was MVP and look at his numbers that year. And similar with Curry and similar with Harden, they really have to up their game. Where I'm not sure Harden can do scoring wise what he did this year again, or if anyone can do that again. But I think if he even downshifts a step, but his team is much better, that would be the okay. He elevated his team. He's the leader of this team. Like he'll be the MVP.
I could see Westbrook doing. I don't know if that team makes the playoffs, but I mean Harden got MVP votes last year, and it was really just a team that was out of the playoffs at the beginning of the year, which I think OKC will be. That somehow miraculously gets into the playoffs and gets a decent seed. It's just a hell of a turnaround, all done by James Harden. I mean, it was
Well, there's a difference between being mid Western Conference playoff team where a couple of games either way you could have hyped up, and rather than if you don't make the playoffs, you're not gonna be MVP.
well. I still think Giannis is going to be a hell of a lot to overcome. He seems like somebody who's always going to go 110%, much like Westbrook, and will more than likely, I think, end up with the number one seed again. And I expect them to win more games than anyone else just because they're in the East. So I would probably give him the edge. There's a lot of interesting options though.
It's hard to go back to back.
Oh, it's gonna be hard, but I think it's gonna be
That's the one thing.
process of
It's hard to go
elimination
back to
for
back.
some of them. Harden is really. I mean, is Harden really playing with another superstar on this team right now? I mean, is Chris Paul? I mean, he's not as good as Paul George or Kawhi. He's not as good as LeBron or Anthony Davis. I don't think he's. I mean, would you rather Chris Paul over Draymond?
Yes.
You
Yes,
think?
but there's definitely a bunch of hesitation there because it just depends on the rest of your roster configuration.
Because I think that's how you end up with MVP. I think Giannis kind of got it this year. Because Middleton's not really that he's not that guy. He's not that level. I feel like you have to have like nobody
You're
better
far and
than
above the other guys on your team.
yeah. Uh, you want to know who the dark horse is though, and this is the super homer in me. You think he's got
Who's
any shot?
that?
You got? I'm not gonna say it. I wanted you to say it. I'll give you a Tommy point if you can say it. You think there's any shot at Kemba walking in and finally playing on national TV for the first time in his life and just really showing off and going for it?
I think he's gonna play real well, but I don't think that we're gonna be high enough up, and he won't play like Harden did this year. He's just averaging far and away more points than anybody else, and so you got to kind of have one or the other to be in the conversation. And I mean, it's hard to dominate a game when you're that small. He's not that big a guy.
All right, so I think those are. I didn't want to talk about who the best team in the league is.
I thought you were gonna say Jason Tatum.
No. If he doesn't make an all-star,
homer pick.
if he doesn't make
like,
an all-star
boy.
team, though, if he doesn't make an all-star team, we're never talking about him on the podcast again. He's just gonna be banned. Poof.
You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be some former Duke guy that nobody ever cared about.
You want to know the real homer pick after watching Summer League? Carson Arson Edwards. Yeah, he's already got a nickname.
Oh, nobody cares about Summer League, or they were busy watching the Home Run Derby.
That's true. Very true. It was just me.
Oh man, I can't wait to. Is it football season yet? We gotta get through these podcasts. These Wednesdays are killing me.
Couple of months. It'll be Tom Brady time.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what the listeners want to hear. I can't decide if everyone's entertained by us not talking about Tom Brady, or if they're like, "Oh no, we need our Tom Brady."
Did you not see the video of him running the 40-yard dash faster than he ran it at the combine at 43? I sure did.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it. It sounds like the TB12 diet is working just fine.
Yeah. Yep. Ready to go.
Do you think we ever hear from Tom after he retires, or do you think when he retires, like that's it? He's just out of the limelight completely. We never hear from him again.
I think he's got some stuff up his sleeve, both with the TB12 method and the cartoons that he does. I think he's got something lined up. I don't know if it's going to be the traditional going into broadcasting, but he's going to be He's going to be successful in whatever he does.
It would be fun if he had his own like Kobe segment. I would really like to hear Tom break down other quarterbacks. I think that's cool that Kobe does that. I know it's a bit of a kind of a money cop out at this point, but
Peyton does it too, doesn't he?
Peyton does do it, but I think Tom. I mean, Peyton's really good too. I'm not saying that. I would like to know more about Tom Brady in the locker room kind of feel. Like what's really going on in that
kind of
head.
what his thought process is.
Yeah, I want to see more of that. And I'm not saying that Peyton's not qualified either. I just think we know a lot about Peyton. I think Peyton's a lot more out there, a little bit more open.
He's been out of the league for a lot longer now, so doesn't have to keep all the secrets so secret.
But I think that would be really cool. I'd be happy with that. But I'm also happy for him to play until he's 100 years old and football no longer exists. And it's they just renamed the game the Tom Brady game at that point. I'm fine with that. I don't care. I'm not rushing him. I'm not losing
Makes
faith.
Sense.
This guy's somehow managed to overcome so much in his entire career. I just can't wait for this year. Are you okay with the year that this is finally not going to work one of these years, or are you as naive as me thinking like, oh, this could potentially go forever?
Oh, it's for sure going to go forever. And I really thought that I was going to win the Tommy point for bringing up Carson Arson Edwards, but man, you just came in hard with Tom Brady, man. I can't beat that.
Nobody cares about Carson Edwards. He's not going to play a minute this year. Do you think he'll actually be in the rotation?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think
it's fun though?
Yeah, it is fun. But I look at the Kelly Olynyk syndrome.
It's fun because I saw him during March Madness. I saw him play in person, and that was when Purdue. I don't remember who they played, but they blew him out, and it was the last game of the night. So we went right down by Purdue's bench and had a long argument about whether, because he was listed at I think at 6 foot, and I just argued the whole time that there was no way he was 6 foot, and because we were close enough that you could actually have a say in that. So this just fun.
Yeah, it's not looking like you said you watched all the games, right? It doesn't look like Taco's getting in. It doesn't look like an future NBA player.
I watched the highlights from the first game. I watched a good portion of the second game, but I missed last night. I haven't got a chance to watch the highlights. He's doing some stuff, but
I think he's a lot better than everyone thought
for
he
his
was.
size, it's more of a novelty. It's more like a Boban type, where I'm not giving Boban enough credit comparing him to Taco because he's legitimately in the league, but just where on the right night he can do some stuff, but then on the wrong night, like he just gets played right off the court, and there's not like he's just unplayable.
I like Boban. I think Boban's improved a lot. I think Boban isn't going away anytime soon. Boban's
His
got a little
elbow
jump shot.
jumper
Yeah,
is
Boban's got
money.
a jumper now. So like,
Yeah.
if you can shoot, I think you can always kind of find a home in this league, no matter how slow you are or injury prone. I think the one thing though that Boban's got a character within him. There's a certain sales aspect of an attractive player. Like everyone knows who Boban is. I think to this point, to a certain degree, but I think NBA people know. Maybe not national.
I think that he was in John Wick.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was great.
He's just, and that's the way. From all the stuff I was following on Twitter of people that were at Summer League, it's just like Taco Falls is like he's the most popular Summer League guy because you could be almost like 100 miles away and immediately be like, "That's Taco." Like other people are like, "Who's that? I can't. What number?" Like, oh no, that's Taco. And like they were booing the assistant. The head Summer League coach, they're booing him when they took him out. Like everyone wants more Taco.
More tacos for everybody. You know, I don't know. I hope the guy gets in because I do kind of sympathize with somebody because I don't know what if he doesn't get in, what's he gonna do with his life? Like he's still that size. It's not like, oh, all right, well I worked all this, I put all this work in all my life, and now I'll just go change my career path. But I'm sure he could play somewhere else, maybe overseas.
That happens to most people. I mean, he'll figure it out.
But most people could walk in an airport and nobody would think like, hey, is that Taco Fall? Like he's gonna go the rest of his life with people knowing who he is because you can't hide that.
Yeah, really tall.
Oh, anyways,
7'7".
Anyways, thank you for everyone for listening. As always, be sure to check out the website lcalcb.com. Check out Sold by Will for all your San Diego real estate needs, and follow Zach at Twitter. Let him know if you got any world record ideas or things that you can bring to the podcast. Give him some comments. You can reach him at
Wicked Z-Man 24.
And we'll be back next Wednesday at 3. Anything else to add?
Yes, I do. I just finished Stranger Things earlier today. I don't know if it'll quite be next week, depending on when you finish it, but definitely the next couple of weeks we'll do a full recap of Stranger Things, probably towards the end of the pod, because we'll definitely get into spoilers. So
spoiler alert!
Our last topic to let people know just in case they haven't seen it by that point. But yeah, Stranger Things, fun.
Stranger Things, we'll be back.
Little column A, little column B.